Hi everyone. We're actually here because I'm actually practicing with one of my clients because WGN has reached out to us and they want to discuss how the travel ban has impacted families. Basically, I kind of wanted to show you guys behind the scenes what I'm doing. So I'm here sitting with my client trying to prep a little bit about what is going on. So let me just give you a little bit of background as to what is going on with the travel ban. So the travel ban was actually implemented on April 22nd. And basically, it said that people who are trying to seek a green card, so people who are actually basically on the outside, trying to come into the inside of the United States, they are currently banned, which means they're not eligible to apply for a green card if they're being sponsored by their children, especially their U.S. citizen children. So usually for someone who wants to sponsor, let's say I'm a U.S. citizen and I want to bring my mom or dad, and they're in a different country, I'm the one who's called the petitioner, and so I want to sponsor them to come in. This is what's called family-based petition. I'm a U.S. citizen. I have to be over 21 in order to start this process, and usually they will go to the embassy, do an interview, and then they will be granted their green card, and they can come and enter the United States. The people who are also affected under the travel ban are people who are actually legal permanent residents. So let's say I'm a legal permanent resident and I want to bring my mom who's from Mexico, or I want to bring a child from Mexico from abroad into the United States. Those petitions are also currently being banned, and actually that travel ban has been extended all the way through December. So let's just take a little bit of the background about who this is being affected. So I actually have a really clear case here that's going on where we have currently her mom. She's a U.S. citizen, and her mom is currently waiting for this travel ban. She's waiting it out because she's outside of the country. But her case is actually a little bit more compelling because of the situation that's been going on. So we're gonna share with you what the situation is. So go ahead and let me know, when did your mother leave the United States?
My mom left on May 2019. To be exact, it was May 6th of 2019. She left to go for her interview at Ciudad Juarez in Mexico. When she went to the interview, she was denied, and we had to request a waiver, and that's when we reached out to you in July to start her paperwork and get the waiver for her case.
Okay, and who was helping you in the process in May?
In May, when we did her application, we got a public notary to help us out. However, they did not properly inform or guide my mom through the process, so we were not aware that this could be a possibility.
Okay, and why was her visa denied at her interview?
It was denied because of smuggling. I have two older siblings who are not U.S. citizens, and she brought them into the country with her.
Okay. So, this is one of actually what we call a bar. A bar means you're not able to come into the country. But honestly, what parent or what mother is going to come, to a new country without their own children? What father is going to want to leave their children behind? This is something that honestly, this is something that we want to change in our immigration laws. That bringing your children to this country, it's basically a bar where you need to ask for a waiver because what parent or good mother or parent is going to want to leave their children behind, especially if you're escaping the drugs, you're escaping the wars, you're escaping any brutality that may be happening in your countries, and your last resort is actually coming to the United States. There are external forces really imposing you to come to the United States, seeking for a better life. So you're basically punishing parents who are trying to improve the lives of their children, or trying to provide a better life for them. So tell me then, what happened? When did the waiver get approved?
The waiver got approved on February of 2020, so it just recently got approved. And then that's when we received a request, a query paper, asking us to have my mom send in her medical records that were done at Ciudad Juarez. So she had to go back to Ciudad Juarez, get her medical records, and send basically a paper letting her know that she doesn't have any law breaking, any law arrest in Mexico, where she has been since then. And we sent those in with her passport included, and we were just supposed to get a response back after that was sent in. But she was denied on March 18th.
Okay. And this is the crazy thing about her case. So basically, the embassy suspended doing any services as of March 18th due to coronavirus. So her mom got a denial for her application at the Ciudad Juarez on March 18th, the same day that they closed or suspended the embassy. However, what's really unique about this case is that she just mentioned they were asked to submit via mail, so they actually got a label, a courier's label, for them to be able to send her passport and her mother's clearance letter, which is basically her arrest record, to immigration. But guess what? That package was not delivered until March 20th. So please tell me, how can you make a decision on a case on March 18th, 2 days prior, before you actually had all of the paperwork in hand? So this is why we're very upset about this, because a denial was issued before you had everything, all the paperwork. So that's actually an erroneous denial. Now, this is even affecting them even further, because then on April 22nd, guess what? The travel ban was announced. So what does that mean? Because she's the U.S. citizen filing a petition for her mother who is abroad trying to get a green card, now she's part of the travel ban. And now her mom cannot come into the United States until December. At first it was 60 days, so I had to break her the news that it was 60 days. Now it's all the way through December. So just because she did everything properly, and then people ask, why don't people just get in line? Why don't people do the things properly? She did. She went in May trying to get her green card. Then she had to submit a waiver. So she's been out of the country. Normally when you go to an interview in Ciudad Juarez, you tell your family members, you tell relatives, hey, I'm going to be out of the country for 2 weeks. I'm going to do my interview and I'm going to come back. That's it. Normally that's a process. Now, unfortunately, they had hired a public notary before. They weren't guided properly. Then they had to do a waiver, which was submitted in July. Think about it. It didn't get approved until that following year in February. She was supposed to submit her paperwork, which she followed their guidelines in March. They made a decision before they even got her package, and now she's affected by the travel ban, and she cannot come back until December. So we're talking about a mother who has left her children behind, thinking she was going to be out of the country for 2 weeks, and she's been out of the country since May of 2019, and now up until December. So another person who's actually in this picture who's suffering from this tremendously is her grandmother, which is her mother's mother. Now tell me a little bit about your grandmother. What is going on with her?
My grandmother's 85 years old. She has multiple medical conditions. She can hardly walk. She's basically almost blind. She's loss of hearing. She has depression, anxiety, and she has an early stages on dementia. So I'm the one who's taking care of her now. At her age and at my age, I have my own family, and I have a daughter who is 18 months years old, and she has spinal bifida. So having her and my daughter has impacted us tremendously. It impacted my grandma even more, having my mom taking care of her 24/7, and from one day to the other, her not being here, especially for a long time period, it impacted her. It has affected her.
So this is honestly a live example of how you're affecting communities. You're affecting, and that's why I tell people, I'm an immigration attorney. I love what I do. I have a passion for what I do, but I'm honestly in the trenches with my clients day to day. We have actually also sought help, congressional help from Tammy Duckworth's office, because we're trying to see what can we do. We're trying to pull all the resources as much as possible so that we can hopefully have a positive outcome. Hopefully we can have a good result coming from all of this, because it's impacting, as you can see, her grandmother who's a legal permanent resident, her children who are U.S. citizens, and who have been with other mothers since May, just because of the travel ban, just because of the inaccuracies or the erroneous denial by immigration. And now we're not getting any response. I'm the attorney of record. I have sent them multiple notices asking them why was it denied, and there's honestly absolutely no response from them whatsoever. I just get a boilerplate email saying, oh, we've received your email, but because we're closed, we're not getting back to you. And so honestly, now at this point, we're honestly just asking for her passport back, because guess what? Her mother submitted her passport to the embassy, as she was told by the immigration officers, and she has no form of ID. And now, what are the other issues? Where is she living, your mom?
My mom is from Michoacan, Mexico, and right now, as everybody knows, the situation down there is very rough, especially with the cartels and all the drug wars and everything that's going down over there. So she's not even safe where she is at. And that's not a place where she calls home. She hasn't been there for so long that she's basically a stranger in her own birthplace.
Absolutely. And now she's actually walking around without her passport, because that's her only form of ID. And we've been emailing the embassy like, hey, can we please get her passport back? And we have not been able to get any feedback up until this point. So again, we're doing this video only because I'm just here with my client prepping. We have an interview with WGN to talk a little bit about what is going on with the travel ban and how it is affecting our families here locally and personally in so many levels. And I always tell people, how people ask me, how can I get involved, what can I do? Reach out to your congressman. If you're able to vote, you know who to vote for. We need to be able to have some type of immigration reform and some type of changes to be able to help our communities and our most vulnerable citizens that are here in the United States, who actually make this country amazing, who are here being coming to this country, getting educated, getting their degrees, and helping in this community. So I hope you guys have learned a lot. If you have any questions, you know where to reach me. You can follow me on Abogada Rocio, as well as Law Office of RSB. And you can also always email me at Rocio, ROCIO, at lawrsb.com. Or you can always go on my email. You can always go to my website, www.lawrsb.com. And we can also be reached at 312-226-4232. Again, that's 312-226-4232. And thank you for joining us.